Yeah, hello people of Earth. God, I hate those YouTube videos where everybody's like, "Hey you guys, what's up?" So I wanted to do something different, but I don't know how the people of Earth thing really works. So hey, this is Nick Jones. I wanted to do a really quick little tutorial on something because I sort of promised people on Dribble that I would do it 50 million years ago, and even though I don't know you internet people anything, I'm going to do it anyway. This is basically a recipe for making convincing theater curtains. Look, I'm not going to judge you. If you want to be trendy, if you want to follow that kind of thing, then it's totally cool. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm in fact working on two projects right now that involve this sort of motif, the theater thing and the wooden floor and all that good stuff. And I mean, hey, it works, you know. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. I've seen a number of recipes on the interwebs for how to do it, but this one I think is by far the easiest and it's the least procedural. There's a lot of ones out there that's like 500 steps and masks and blah 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 blah. But I'm lazy. I have things to do, you guys. I have to go places and do stuff. So basically, I'm just going to start with a basic canvas. It doesn't really matter what size it is. Although what's going to happen is we're going to run a filter over parts of the canvas, so you may want to make a selection. That might be easier for you later, so I think I'll do that now. So this is it's a fairly large canvas. I'm going to make a sort of a rectangular selection inside it, and then I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to fill that selection with sort of the medium range of the color that you're going to want to have in the end. So I'm going to fill this with sort of a mid red, like not the darkest red in the basic palette and not the lightest one either, the one that's sort of in the middle. So I'll go ahead and fill with that color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a filter that I never had really done much with before called Fibers. So here in the Fibers panel, you can sort of randomize and regenerate. It's a lot like the cloud filter, only it's generating it in this sort of vertical stretched manner. So the strength, you can jack it way up and you get these very, variegated fibers, or you can put it kind of way down. So what we're going to do is put it sort of, the strength is fairly low, and you want to have the variance be fairly low as well. And I mean, you can see what's happening here. It's already sort of looking curtainy. So you're going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to render that out for you. Then what we're going to do two things. We're going to first put a blur on this, and not too much, because the next step is going to help to get rid of some of this noise, this visual noise that's in here. So let's go 2.5 as the radius and hit OK. And then we're going to do another blur. We're going to do a motion blur, 90 degrees, straight up and down. And this one you can kind of go to town on. So if you want to go to town on this one, that's okay. Now, the only problem with motion blur is that when you do it, you get these halos at the top and bottom. And that's why we're doing this inside a selection, because if you don't, then you end up with these weird halos. So now we've got what looks like pretty convincing curtains already. So what we're going to do now is, and this is the sloppy way to do this. There are better ways to do this, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to clip out this chunk, which is the sort of usable chunk. And I'm going to paste it back onto the canvas, and then I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. So I'm going to stretch it vertically like this. And I mean, we're really home free at this point. You could stop and probably use this like it is. The only problem with doing that, I'm going to go ahead and fill the background with a color just to make this a little nicer. The only problem with doing that is that the curtains don't look like they're falling anywhere on the bottom. So this is where I ran into like all these crazy, like, making masks and blah, 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 blah. But this is so easy. Just go to Liquify, and you're going to get the Liquify dialog, the sort of Liquify Studio. And what you're going to look for are places in your curtain that are lighter. So we're going to make an optical illusion here, basically. So you see like places like right here where things are light, you're going to want to grab those and just pull them down a little bit. So you can already see what's going on here. So pull that one down, maybe this guy, definitely this one, that looks pretty big. So, and you can mess with the size of the brush too, so I'm just going to do a few of these so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But this is already a very convincing facsimile of curtains that you might find either photographed or rendered somewhere on the internet that you'd have to pay some joker money for, you know, and screw that guy trying to feed his family, whatnot. It's absurd. What, like I'm the only guy who's going to buy your photograph of curtains? Come on. So we'll hit OK. And then we have these little hangledy bits down at the bottom. Now you could play with it forever, and I have before, just played with it for a million years, try and get it just right. And you know, you can do that if you have OCD. So I implore you to do that. So now we've got what looks like a pretty dang convincing curtain. I'm going to do one last thing though. A lot of people would do the weird render lights thing. That requires me to reboot Photoshop into 32-bit mode, which is absurd. Like, who's going to do that? So instead, I'm just going to use the radial gradient tool, and I'm going to grab, you know, a color value that's pretty high, pretty light. And I'm making a new layer, and I'm going to do a couple of these up here. You see where this is going, right, America? And then I'm going to grab those and kind of stretch them out a little bit, like so. And then we'll copy this layer a couple of times. Why not? There we go. I'm going to group those together, scoot them over, and then there are a couple of ways that you can do this. You can set them to multiply over and over again if you want, but I find that overlay works pretty well because boom, you've got top lights. So you can add more. It's really pretty convincing. I mean, I'm convinced. I feel like I'm looking in like right down onto a stage right now, and it's kind of freaking me out. I probably need to go take a nap. Oh boy. So yeah, and then if you want to, you know, if you want to simulate the fact that there's sort of like a light bar or a valance over the top of the stage, then you can do another sort of vertical, or rather horizontal gradient in a patch right there, and set that to multiply. That's also pretty convincing. But I mean, that's it, and Bob's your uncle. I mean, it's a really simple technique, and with it you can do some pretty neat things. And it's, like I say, it's everywhere now, and doing it this way means that you don't have to, you know, go out and look for some stock photo of curtains, or, you know, God forbid, like render curtains. And the other thing is, if you're careful, when you liquefy your little curtain folds here, this can be made to repeat pretty well too. So if you're doing a website and you'd like to use this as a background, if you start with a fairly wide across canvas and you watch your folds here, then this can sort of repeat into infinity in either direction on your canvas. So it doesn't matter what the screen resolution of the user is, it's going to repeat for them anyway. So anyway, that's it, people of Earth. I'm not going to move this canvas around anymore because I'm sure you're all dizzy now. But anyway, thanks for watching this crazy little screencast, and hope you enjoyed it, and go make curtains. Thanks. Bye.